Hey guys, how you doing tonight? So I'm sitting here working on some Christmas presents for some people, doing my best impersonation of one of Santa's elves, I guess. I think people this time of year get kind of caught up in financial strain over buying Christmas presents for everybody. And I think part of me thinks that is absolutely awesome. But at the same token, it's it is not it's not what it's supposed to be. And I know this that the big stores have you got your Black Friday sales and your small business Saturday and Cyber Monday and special credit card offers and blah 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 blah. You know, and I know that it is literally just a few days away. But if you've got carving tools or a small at home wood shop, there are all sorts of presents you can make at home that will last a lifetime. And maybe at the exact moment you made it, it might not mean as much as the latest and greatest Xbox video game or newest PlayStation controller. But in the long run, when they see that handmade toy, 20 or 30 years from now, when their kids are looking at it, that should bring back some wholesomely awesome memories for that person. My dad and my grandpa used to make presents, and we were talking about that the other day. When my dad was logging, of course, logging in the late '80s, early '90s, when times were great, they were great, and when times were bad, they were really bad. And Dad had made me a little wooden climbing bear, just a piece of pine with a couple strings run through it and tied up in one of the stairwells. And I'm gonna guess I was between 3 and 4 years old. And I honestly can't tell you much of anything from those days in my life other than I absolutely was infatuated with the movie Crocodile Dundee. I don't think Land Before Time was out yet, but that was another one that I really liked as a kid. I can't even barely remember what the old farmhouse looked like really well from back then, but I can remember that climbing bear, and I mean that was at least 36, if not 37 years ago. So, you know, simple Y branch whittled down, smoothed out, and some bands tied on it could make a young boy a pretty awesome Christmas present or birthday present. And I had one person say, "It's like, man, if I got my son a slingshot and he went outside and broke something, he'd go outside and he broke something. You deal with those consequences when they get there. He has to deal with them too. And then not only does he get an awesome toy, he gets a pretty awesome life lesson. And those video games they play break them more often than a slingshot's going to break something else. And I'm not even against the video games, but it's rotting kids' brains sitting in there all day, every day. Their thumbs just a going, their eyes not even blinking. You know, I would almost much rather a young man be outside, or young lady be outside with a slingshot, possibly breaking stuff, than sitting inside with their head all wrapped up in something that's not real. There's some food for thought, you know. And I play video games too. I ain't gonna lie. I still like some old school Modern Warfare, or some of my farm simulators, because you know I can't afford expensive tractors, but I can afford expensive tractors on Farm Simulator. So I probably wouldn't know how to run them in real life anyway, because most of my tractors were made before we had satellites in space. But like I said, it's just food for thought, you know. Sometimes the simplest, most wholesome things are what we cherish the most. And if it wasn't for some of those simpler things in life, some of us would not be where we are today. You know, I get a couple more of them done, I'll make a post on my Crayola crayon trucks. And that's another one. My grandfather had made all of us grandkids, which he only had 3, but made all of us grandkids little Crayola crayon trucks. And mine's still out in the garage, and I think both my sisters still have theirs, but those little wooden wheels had made a lot of miles on carpeted and hardwood floors, and have moved a lot of crayons across a lot of different paper. And like I said, memories like that don't come out of a store. They come out of the hearts of those that build them. And as I sit here carving out some nice slingshot blanks for some young girls and boys, hoping that maybe they will get in some mischief with a slingshot versus getting in some mischief with a video game. At least slingshot mischief gets you outside. And a caveat to that, the Nerf foam little shooter balls they have now go really awesome with a slingshot. They still sting, they still hurt, but they are fairly safe for indoor activities. And if you can get your kids running around the house shooting each other with little tiny foam Nerf balls, that's a good thing. Hey, I hope you all have a great afternoon. I hope you all have a great Christmas. And I hope you shut these damn electronics off. Get out in your workshops, your basements, your back porch. Make a mess. Get your hands dirty. You know, I joke about it. I carve some nights so much I can barely open my hands up all the way, and my thumbs are all chewed up from the knife blades hitting them, and my back hurts from leaning back here on my shave horse and just whittling away. But I'm making stuff. I'm being productive. Oh, and I got my permanent teeth, so I can talk without being all wispy. But, you know, like I said, put these things away. Hang out with your kids. Play a game. Do something productive other than just rotting away, staring at this phone screen. Y'all have a great night, and I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas. And try not to have too bad a hangover on New Year's. Goodbye.